What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefe at ghostcultmag.com. I'm here with a little bit of a late night live stream. Wyatt Kisser's here and Brocardi is here. Hello, hello. Thought I would jump on to talk about what is going on with Cradle of Filth. It's been, if you've been following the news and you had some whiplash as a result of this, I am not surprised. We have too. And I think I want to bring up some things that I don't think regular people understand about the music business, about what it is to be a touring artist, what that looks like when you are not the owner of a band or the founding member of a band or the main people in the band incorporated. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about how much money people make and what, if anything, they have or entitles them to. And I don't think I would have made a video about this if the aspersions being cast were not so serious or severe. I will throw out front that I have nothing but respect for Cradle of Filth. I've interviewed Danny and met him a few times. Always been very nice and professional. Some of the other key members of the band we've met before. Some of the members of management that have been called out, if you will, I'm very fond of personally and know for a long time and worked with for a long time professionally as a journalist. And I don't think I've ever seen something like this in very small instances. You know, you've seen very public dust-ups with former members of Korn. You've seen Slipknot endure lawsuits and a lot of judgment laden things from their people, fans, and former bandmates and business partners alike. Unsurprisingly, you know, if you sometimes dare to bump back publicly and air dirty laundry, you are treated rather shabbily, and that's just a fact. So yeah. I'm just going to share this around for a second. Hold on. Make sure we're going live everywhere. Jump in and comment if you have an opinion on this situation and check it out because I think it's super interesting. And if you're watching this for the first time, if you're new here, ghostcultmag.com is your 24/7 news source. We do music reviews, album reviews, about 500 to 600 a year, concert and festival reviews all over the world. And we interview a lot of bands on our YouTube with little biteable pieces of content on other socials. What's up to Joe, Steel Toe, Skull Basher's back, Frank is here. What's up, everybody? Happy late night. We're here to talk a little Cradle of Filth in case you are interested. If you're not interested, that's cool too, because, you know, it can't be for everybody. But I thought I would come on and talk about this because I think it bears discussing a little bit about you know, just what's going on in the world, and what's like these things are not new, but they are. I'm surprised by this turn of events. I'm surprised. Anya's also here, and a few others. So thanks for being here and watching. You can watch anybody else's stuff, but here you are. So thank you. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for all those watching on the Tube review. Feel free to tune in and say hi. So been a wild couple of days. I think we'll start with the minutiae a little bit here. And let's see, StreamYard kind of acting up a little. And we'll add this to the stage. We got a little deck here that I made, and in case you saw our recent other live stream, just for some shopkeep here, Pop Rock Zombie is here, Chelsea Ann is here, Jorge passed by. What's up? We did a live stream review last week of Deftones. We've been trying to do some things we haven't been doing lately. We reviewed the new Deftones album. We did another album review and vinyl unboxing last week of Insight. I also did a live review of the 9 Inch Nails show I saw because it was so amazing. I wanted to talk about it, and it seemed like a lot of people were curious about it too. So we're here late on a Tuesday. Again, we're talking about all the drama and lineup changes of Cradle of Filth. And I'm going to attempt, in the best of my ability, I am not an inside person with knowledge of the situation. I only know what's been reported and discussed. So we're going to be dealing in facts, not making assumptions, not casting aspersions. We're just going to replay the story and then give some feedback to maybe light the way a little bit. Miss For Melinda, Y. Laurie, RX, Diebar is here. Diebarrett. Just a reminder, we are not a corporate entity. We do make some money from advertising, but if you feel so generous as you want to tip us, here's our live stream menu. Normally, this is mostly something I push during our big weekly live stream. We're also going to start offering subscriptions and private live streams to our Substack and YouTube channel subscribers. So if that's something you have interested in, stay tuned. What's up, Lisa GT19? Greg is here. Frymaster is back. We've had you here before, Frymaster. Thanks for being back. Ace Man 529 is here. So yeah, that's our menu. And then again, if you want to support us with a tip, we greatly appreciate any tips for good service here, because at the heart, we're entertainers. And that's what we do. So just another bit of upkeep. We've been doing a lot of giveaways. We have a current giveaway with my other podcast, the Glacially Musical Podcast, Beer, Metal, and Swearing, Vinyl Care, and Community, and things like that. We're giving away free bundles of vinyl and of CDs separately, a vinyl bundle, CD bundle. You can check that out at the link in our bio. We just gave away tickets to the Acid Bath show this coming Friday in LA. I notified the winner today. We are launching a new giveaway later tonight that you want to stay tuned to in this space. And there's our Cash App square in case you want to post up and drop us a tip. Zach is here. Anthony's here. Appreciate seeing some faces late night. I appreciate it. We've got some nice people watching over on the TubeU. Feel free to drop a comment if you are what you think about this Cradle of Filth situation. So, and once again, just another reminder, I'm back here. I might do another live stream tomorrow. I did a poll on our YouTube about content, but also I'm here every Thursday afternoon with the weekly ritual, our Rock and Metal News weekly recap, all the new music coming out, the major stories and drama like this one, interviews we've done on the channel, and usually some merch unboxing or something like that. Hot Wheels Stun is here. Todd Rick Bone is here. Thanks for being here. Kenneth Kaltenbach, what's up? Welcome back. So, yeah, we're doing the thing. We're talking about Cradle of Filth, and let's just dial it back for a second before we get into the drama. Cradle of Filth is probably more successful than they have ever been in their whole career. They are doing things at a level, headlining festivals all over the world, mounting huge headline tours cross countries, cross continents. Their last record, Screaming the Valkyries, did very well, to the fact that they're repressing vinyl and offering new packages and things. You need to audition for Cradle. Good. Thank God they don't do any sweeping arpeggios. I mean, there was a time when they did, but I hear what you're saying. They're not exactly Dimmu Borgir or Behemoth, but I hear what you're saying, Ken. But maybe not a great thing, maybe a mixed bag. But again, it may be the mixed bag, not of Cradle of Filth, but the mixed bag of being a touring musician and not having ownership in a band. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because I think people don't understand that. But Cradle is doing about as well as they've ever done in their 34-year history. Danny Filth is the, the mainstay. It's his band. They have had something like 47 members beside Danny. They have had many people leave over the years. That does happen in bands. No band almost that you love has the same long-term members, and you could make an all-star band out of people who have been in the band. They've actually had a few people pass away. But they have some members, some considered to be classic members of the band. And it's tough to lose a long-term members like Ashok and even Zoe, Marie Fedorov, who, instigated this whole thing starting by leaving over the weekend. 3 years is respectable. Their last keyboardist was in for 2+, Annabella Arotny. So yeah, it's definitely difficult to keep a band together. And I mean, at this point, Marthes might be the longest standing drummer in the band, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Cradle is hugely successful. Their management is the Oracle Management, run by Des Fafara and his wife Anastasia. Again, I have nothing but admiration for Danny. I've spoken to him. He's wonderful. I met him in person. He seems great. Maybe not to be in a band with, but as far as Des and his wife, I can say that I know them to be fair, tough but fair. And they have been instrumental in, again, making Cradle as big as they have ever been. They're also working with a bunch of other bands, in addition to Des's bands, Cold Chamber and Devil Driver, of course. Black Satellite is also managed by the Oracle. And they are one of the rising bands in rock and metal right now. They did a whole tour opening for Marilyn Manson, whatever you want to say. Manson is huge. And, all due respect. But at the same time, what is happening? So I think there's a lot going on to unpack. There's some things that maybe are not understood. I am trying to understand what's going on as well. I don't claim to have all the answers. I know a little bit about the music business. That's what I know. Cradle of Filth is in the middle of their South American tour that launched last weekend. And just as the tour began, Zoe Marie Fedorov took to her social media to announce she was leaving the band. I'm going to try to give this, in the proper context. So, Zoe posted over the weekend. It is with deep regret that I share, for personal reasons, I am unable to continue this tour and continue in general with Cradle of Filth. Please respect my privacy and my family's privacy. I will answer no further questions. Be kind to my successor. I wish her and my now former bandmates well. At least, like Roy Khan said over a decade ago, Roy Khan of Camelot, God was there after all. Yours, Zoe. So, seemed pretty innocuous. Not great to leave in the tour, in the middle of a tour, the beginning of a tour, in a foreign country. I assume she traveled with them. What's up, J-Rod? How are you doing? Local Hoodlum is also here. What's up, Michael? Timothy? Not easy to do when you're in a foreign country to up and leave a tour you're on. Like, cannot be easy. Cannot be, a lightly made decision, I'll say. Can't be taken lightly. So Zoe makes this post, and then Danny comments basically later that day. He makes an Instagram post. A strange turn of events have manifested here on tour for Cradle of Filth in South America. Keyboardist, backing singer Zoe Marie Fedorov, has chosen to leave the band mid-tour, effective immediately. We, of course, wish her all the best for the future, and we as a band will continue onward and upward, as always. The replacement singer here in Kelsey Peters, one of the very talented Cradle members. Like Cradle, but Cradle. Thanks for new people tuning in. Appreciate you watching on YouTube. In life, one cannot always foresee what future holds for us, but we remain ever professional and continue on with the Screaming of the Americas concerts for our fans without allowing any of this to sully our onward trajectory. So, our South and Central American brethren, we will see you at the next spat of relentless shows. The shows have already been incredible in Brazil, and we are just so exceptionally appreciative of your massive and passionate attendance, my friends and fiends alike. Long live the Filth. Danny Filth, Buenos Aires, Argentina. So, it seems like all is okay. Doesn't seem bad. Seems okay. Seems like it's going to be all right. Then, Ashok posts that he is leaving. He is leaving the band. So, he writes a post, Dear fans and friends. So he plays one show with the replacement, Kelsey Peters, who I've met, lived in New York, the New York area for a while, is a very well-known person in the music scene. Kelsey's been very nice. I met a few times, and we have mutual friends, and I knew they were opera trained and seemed like the right profile of a person that would play in Cradle of Filth. Classically musical trained, can do the cradle stuff. It seems like, a match. So they played one show with Ashok and Kelsey replacing Zoe. And Ashok posts to social media today, Tuesday, August 26th. Dear fans and friends, I ask you to please respect my wife and myself in this transitional period. I am indeed leaving Cradle of Filth at the end of this current tour, and the reasons behind this and conclusions my wife and I came to together long before this week. We simply do not feel like Cradle can provide for our future, and in fact, it hinders it. Among other reasons, it is a lot of work for relatively low pay. The stress is quite high, and we haven't felt for a while like this band is actually prioritizing caring about members. It has been years of unprofessional behavior from the people above us that led to our decision. I have also asked all compositions of mine removed from upcoming releases, including the Ed Sheeran collab, by the way. Cradle, Filth, and Ed Sheeran have made a song. We'll see when we hear it. Ed has since released an album. Cradle has since released an album. Ed is not on it. Or Cradle is not on Ed's album. The song feels foolish, like foolish clown antics for me at this point anyway. First, it was a charity single for kids, then a profit single, then on the next album. Now, who knows? And I just do not want to be involved anymore, no disrespect to Ed Sheeran. And meanwhile, to so many brilliant internet brains trying to speculate on personal affairs between me and Zoe, just stop this. We are trying to start a new chapter. I am going to finish this tour strong for the fans and my friends in this band and crew. It is my last ride with Cradle, and I am proud to give it my best. I am sad to not share the stage with my wife these last times, but I respect why she left, and I am happy for our friend Kelsey Peters has been given an opportunity to shine. This is all I have to say for now. Leave my wife alone. Never insult her or her choices in my presence, or else. Very ominous from the guy who is dressed up as Pinhead at every show. So, Cradle is on this tour. Ashok makes that post. And then Danny posts, Ashok is fired. And I have this cool photo of fire here. I'll just read a little more here from Danny's post. Eastling is here. Hello, the Eastling, and hello again, Ken. I hope you're still here. So Danny now comments on Ashok getting fired, and this is some wild shit. And again, they called him out, right? Zoe didn't call him out. Marek, Ashok, calls out Danny, those above us, Danny, for the mistreatment. And so Danny posts, it is with a grave heart that Cradle of Filth officially announced the firing of guitarist Marek Ashok Shmerda from the band effective immediately. Despite all attempts to illegally defame and derail the band, Cradle of Filth will not cancel any of our South American shows, though fans will have to bear with us being a band with only one guitarist live. That is, of course, until Ashok's temporary replacement is flown out to join the tour in a few days' time. Fast work. Thank you for understanding in this horrible matter. We are all in a state of shock over the proceedings, and we will share our side of these unfortunate events in due course. Please respect our decision to part with Ashok now rather than at the end of the tour to avoid speculation and any more clarity on the situation will be provided. The rest of the band are cool, even if taken aback, and accusations to our management, who work very closely with me and the band, are completely unjust and unfounded. Patience is a virtue, and the truth will always out. Maybe it means bear out. But okay, the truth will always win out, maybe. Thank you once again, fellow filthlings, and we look forward to the rest of the Screaming of the Americas tour here in Uruguay and beyond. Your friend, Danny. So, Danny kind of fires back, pushes back on any wrongdoing, defends the management. Again, I only know Danny to be very good in personal dealings with me and the press. Live as a person, I've seen him a little bit in regular life. I know the management, Oracle management, Des and Anastasia Fafard, to be nothing but professional to me and in my dealings with them. I can't speak on other things, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions because, to my knowledge, they are well regarded as management. But now Zoe claps back, and really, I'm flabbergasted by this because I didn't expect after Ashok's kind of smackdown of Danny and Danny's pretty, I'd say, even-handed defense. Murloc Lives is here. What's up? I think is a pretty even-handed defense. You know, they have a right to defend themselves. So here's Zoe makes another post right after Danny fires Ashok, and again, feelings might be hurt. I honestly understand why you would let the guitar not. Let's not finish the tour. Go home. Thanks. You're quitting at the end of the tour. Don't even bother staying with us. We'll replace you. We can play some shows as a single guitar band. Enough instrumentation and people to cover. And just not interested in being on tour with somebody that doesn't want to be there. I get that. That's their right, honestly. And again, these folks are in a foreign country where they don't speak the language, and they have to go home and probably on their own without the plane tickets the band bought for everybody. I don't know. I'm guessing on that one. So here's the statement from Zoe after Ashok is fired. And this kind of blew my brain a little, and I'm going to tell you why. A further statement on the departure from myself and Ashok from Cradle, a warning to our successors, in all caps, read the contract. I think I have this here, right? We planned this transition out of Cradle of Filth months ago. Management is dishonest, manipulative, and tries to take money that belongs to us with no contract between us session musicians and him. So I think and him, they mean Danny. When I called them out on this attempted theft of album advance money from Screaming of the Valkyries, already released, they called me a cancer and a dead horse and threatened to fire me. The frontman, Danny, does nothing to stop them and hides behind them while they belittle and steal. We hold the frontman responsible for hiring this management and never advocating for his team, only himself. Other ex-members try to tiptoe around this and only blame management. Management works for the frontman. They mean Danny. He might not get his hands dirty, but in the end, he directs them. The atmosphere he creates is threatening and abusive and constantly exploits us for very low wages, yet also demands exclusivity to Cradle's schedule. We do not make even the bare cost of living, yet we are told to not tour with other bands to supplement our income. It is madness to keep people locked in poverty for the ego of one person. Whoa, that is a lot to unpack. Yep. Blackstone Death Metal. Yep, talking about Cradle. That's right. Somewhere in Time is here also. So check this shit out. We attached a contract. They attempted to trap all session members in for a 25% raise, parentheses, the first raise in 7 years. Our lawyer called it the most psychopathic contract the session musician could ever be handed. That is quite a claim. We did not sign and made a decision to leave this year instead, so we left because we were being used and paid less than the cost of living. The environment is toxic and threatening. And the toll this was taking on our lives and our marriage grew too great. The health toll it took on us also led me to miscarry our first pregnancy on tour. Whoa! Why are you flying across the country when pregnant? That's not good. But I'm not judging, but shit. We chose to leave to save ourselves and create a better future for our family. Now that we are out, the sun is shining, our family has hope, and we hope every session musician who thinks about joining Cradle reads the contract and talks to a lawyer. Good luck to whoever tries to make it work next. And remember, we all know the guy who says all his exes are crazy. Are you sure all of them? Could the problem be you? 40 plus people later? Farewell to the fans and our fellow session members and crew. They were only part of this that remain good memories. And then she attaches the contract that they were asked to sign, which I have to believe that's like a violation of everybody has like NDAs, non-disclosure agreements they have to sign. I'm shocked if there wasn't one in place that they could not do this, go scorched earth, drop bombs like this on Danny and the management, and also share this contract, leak this contract, which is really, I gotta say, difficult. Let's say, like it's wild that they did this. Blackstone Death says Cradle of Filth equals chick band. Well, there's the future discussion about baddie core or girlfriend metal or whatever you think. But this scorched the earth shit I've never seen. I really have seen it all. I was in bands for 20 plus years. I've been a music journalist for almost 20 years. I've been running Ghost Cult for almost 13. I have never seen this before. A public split this nasty. I've seen some pretty bad splits. Bad Wolves, Tommy Vexed, again, Slipknot versus former members. Just wow. So there's probably a little bit of truth in everything here, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. I'm perplexed personally about this whole thing. So I'm not a legal expert, nor do I profess to give legal advice to anybody. But we're just talking about, Cradle of Filth is a major band. I had said already, all due respect to Danny and their management, they are as big now as they have ever been. This is a very difficult time. Hopkins Law's passing by. What up? A lot of people are failing at touring. A lot of people are retiring from music and not wanting to tour. I think you're going to see more and more of this. It's just very expensive to keep touring. And then this bomb drop of this thing. So, Danny Filth is also Danny Davey. This, legal document, you can read it on our site as well as Lambgoat. It's just a fact. I don't know contracts. I'm just reporting what I'm reading here. At first, it seems like a very standard professional services contract. And Zoe and Ashok referred to the whole band as session musicians. So let me just stop for a second and talk about this. A lot of people don't understand that every major band, and you're a small DIY band, you should, if you're going to run it like a business, My Band Incorporated, Ghost Cult has an LLC even. Like, you have to have a business head to be able to be in the music business. It's the music business, not the music friendship, as I am fond of saying, and I copyright that. But no, you can use it, trust me. If you're not a founding member, if you're not a stakeholding member in Cradle of Filth Incorporated, you just get less money than everybody else. You get less of the merch money. You get less royalties or no royalties, depending on what you were negotiating. That's the business. Dave Lombardo came back to Slayer and thought he would make more money as a weekly salaried employee than a member of Slayer, and it's very well detailed in the book by my friend DX Ferris, who I hope to interview at some point soon, about their finances. And a light was shed on that. That was very distasteful to Dave, and that's why he ended up out of the band eventually a second time and never coming back probably. So it seems like a personal services contract, and there's things about copyright and compositions. You give us all consents and permissions. You don't own your music. You contributed to the albums. This was what was offered. This is what was offered. I don't know if this is the contract they had. This is what they were offered for a 25% raise across the board, which, is significant, but 7 years, usually most people get a 4 or 5%. Slayer, I hear you, man. I hear you. We're talking about big business, and maybe that's the antithesis of art and true metal and all these things. Slayer died a long time ago. They came back for the money. There's no question. I mean, I'm glad they're back because I kind of feel like the world died a little bit when they retired. But Jeff wouldn't have wanted the band to stop, and the money is probably outstanding to do these handful of shows a year. But I hear you, man. I hear you. Tell me what bands you like, and I'll let you know. I'm sure we cover them. So here's kind of the rub. And again, this is what they're, according to Zoe, Their lawyer called this psychopathic. That is a very strong aspersion to cast. But 200 per day for all days in which you were required to perform. I mean, if you're on a tour of South America doing about 40 dates in 6 weeks, that's quite a lot of money, more than most people make in minimum wage jobs per day, but not a lot. I mean, maybe double the minimum wage. A sum of 150 days spent traveling that are not performance days, and a per diem each day of 25. These are all in pounds, so not euros, not USD. Pounds. Riff Haven has passed by. What's up? And again, I will mention that, like, maybe with the exchange rates, so, Ken says, I think Cradle simply isn't immune to rock and roll moments, and this is definitely one of those moments. They take themselves too serious at times, and the musicians should get paid as much as possible. I absolutely agree with that. Blackstone Death says, only fools give them their hard-earned cash to go see them. We're talking about Slayer, but maybe Cradle too. Here at Ghost Cult, we cover the underground, we cover the funderground, we cover the big-ass bands. Yowie has passed by on Facebook. That's cool, Yowie, the band. We also had somebody watching, quite a few people watching on YouTube. Thanks, Ken. Thank you, Blackstone Death. I feel terrible if she lost a baby. Definitely would not have flown if she was pregnant. But again, that's not my body and not my decision to make. An annual payment of $1,000 for the use of your image and or performance in videos, merchandising, photographs, or other. To each December 31st, you perform with the artist. The artist is Danny. So $1,000 a year does seem a little light for images, music videos, faces on shirts, press photos. Seems light for a band at the level of Cradle, but maybe they feel like that's fair. I do not know. In addition to the foregoing, we agree to give you a good faith consideration to further payment to you from time to time in respect of merchandise sales and so-called meet and greets. So if they do meet and greets, they can get a little extra money. You get supplied with your services to the best of your ability, to the standard of a first-class performer at all times while providing your services hereunder. Legal talk. The avoidance of doubt, you shall provide these services on a first call basis. You agree to attend punctually at such places and times. And then there's some more rules about first call. You are solely and exclusively entitled to grant the rights granted to us, meaning the artist, Danny, and the management. They have the full right and power to enter into this agreement, meaning there's no other deals that could interfere with that. Used to listen to black and death metal within the underground. I hear you, man. Hot Topic Metal. Satanic Berserker 666 is here. Cradle of Filth equals Hot Topic Metal. Fair enough, man, but that Hot Topic Metal sold out a tour of South America in a time when people can't afford to go to shows. So I hear you. We're just talking about this drama that I have said before you join, guys, that this is an unprecedented bomb drop. You never see a major artist get called out like this. Very, very rarely. So I'm surprised. And what I'm trying to do is shed light on why. I only know Danny. I've interviewed him, and he's been cool. I met him a few times. Des and Anastasia, great people. I only know them as a journalist to management, and everything I've heard about them is good. Nothing in this agreement shall be construed or deemed to constitute a partnership or joint venture between you and us. This is probably like the Ghost clause. After Ghost got sued, after Tobias Forge got sued by the rest of Ghost, these are standard now. You are not a member of this band unless you are a member of this band incorporated. You are a work for hire contractor. Something about the laws of England and Wales and courts. Costs incurred by a result of you. You might repay us costs in demand and in addition authorize us to deduct any such costs from royalties or payments otherwise due to you if you don't uphold this contract. That is wild. But I think that's probably standard again. So again, I don't know. There's an additional update from Danny, so I'll skip ahead. That's all the slides. You can go see them on social media. or if you care enough. Danny Filth, a great guy. Here he throws tantrums like Chucky when he doesn't get his way. I mean, if you've been in music for 34 years and you've gotten to a certain level, you can be a diva. I mean, we see it. We see it all the time. The worst thing is when a brand new artist acts kind of like a diva. They haven't earned the right to. I don't know that anyone should be a diva, but like if you haven't earned the right to, you don't have anything to lean on. You're brand new here. You're not entitled to anything. This is a more recent update from Danny from Uruguay. It has been an extremely dramatic week out here on the road in South America with a sudden departure of Zoe from the band and a sum total of 11 hours sleep in 4 days due to some very early morning lobby calls and late arriving back at hotels. 4 amazing shows in Brazil and Argentina thus far. Uruguay today. That was last night. And many early check-ins for flights. It certainly has been a whirlwind of chaos amid a circus of delights in the first week, a little over a month now, stretching like a great cat before us, clawing its ways through the dense foliage of South and Central America. He sure is flowery. Kelsey Peters is certainly filling in well on backing vocals and key duties, and the mood of the camp is very upbeat and positive. Not a huge amount of photos to share, seeing as how we've literally bounced from airport to hotel to club and back again, but should get a little easier now that we have as many travel days as shows, jet lag notwithstanding until the final lengthy run in Mexico. So thank you for your continued support and for not listening to all the bullshit rumors and sickly worms presiding over the internet. I guess that means me. Cradle of Filth always come back better and stronger than ever, and that will be no different this time when we unleash our new album in the foreseeable future. Bestial wishes, Danny Montevideo. Why? So hopefully I said that correctly. I pronounced that well, I hope. What a dramatic turn of events. Daddy Blood is here. And I think, when you get a band that's hit this level for a long time, you're going to have dissatisfied people. I know that Danny recently mended fences with Sarah Jezebel Deva of the iconic early albums. She was incredible and is a friend to the show. We've interviewed her a few times and followed her projects. It just kind of put out The Screaming of the Valkyries not that long ago. So, it's possible they have another new album in the works. And I saw that A-Shock asked that his music not be released, including their new album and the Ed Sheeran collab, which is crazy, but also they might just cut him out of the money anyway and run this, release the music anyway. Garrett Punk Rock is here. I just think it's very, very brash to just air the dirty laundry as a means of defending themselves. That shit is wild. I've never seen it done that way. I don't recommend it. Maybe they felt they didn't have a choice. Maybe they don't have a leg to stand on legally, and that's why they did it. But again, Danny is Cradle of Filth. Danny is Cradle of Filth Incorporated. It's his choice to pay people like contractors. Contractors typically make a higher pay, not lower. They don't get a share of the money, of the royalties, of the merch as much, but, they tend to get paid more weekly than, occasional, meted out payments. More will unfurl about this. Apparently, they're going to get a fill-in guitarist who's apparently preparing and going to meet them on tour. Kelsey Peters, best of luck to you. Like I said, we've seen other past members of Cradle burn out and leave. Most of them seem to be thriving. Again, I mentioned that Sarah, for many years, Sarah Jezebel Deva could not, never saw Danny again, and only heard between mutual friends things said, and then they met somewhere. She caught up with their tour and had a very nice chat apparently, and came to Jesus meeting or whatever. No pun intended, maybe pun intended a little. And generally speaking, if you go look at Zoe Smerda's social media, all the ex-Cradle members are popping up in there. Satanic Berserker 666, their new sellout album for all the clueless normies who weren't even itching in their daddy's pants when they formed. I got you, man. I got you. Yes, of course. But, we're not going to gatekeep age. Like some people were not born at the right time. I mean, I liked black metal in the early 90s, and I still listen to those same bands. Windeer became Vreed, but other than that, I'm still listening to Ulver and the old school, Nottingham Madrigal records and Emperor's first few records and things like that I liked. Next time you interview the diva, ask why he shifts from death metal to estrogen metal. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Gatekeeping is good. It's not that good, but I hear what you're saying. I don't care about safe spaces, but I think there's room for everybody. You can like black metal, you can like rap metal, you can like hardcore, you can like death metal. Again, I'm a journalist, so I kind of have a generalist ear in the first place. I think gatekeeping bad music from people is important. Gatekeeping exists for a reason, and there's nothing that either you or I can do to get rid of it. That's fair. That's fair, Satanic Berserker. Seems like you and Blackstone Death have similar values, which is cool. Common bonds. But anyway, more to come on this. I'm rooting for, everybody to go on with their lives, but this is just wild. That's why I came on here to talk about it. I have never seen it done this way. A lot of people have left bands and then just kind of moved quietly through and not just rained fire and scorched the earth behind them. But I guess Zoe and Marek felt they needed to do this. It'd be very interesting to see when and if Danny shows up with receipts to, doesn't need to defend himself, but if he feels like he wants to defend himself further, be interesting to see. Even they called out past former members of Cradle of Filth that preceded them and said that they, current and past members, tiptoe around Danny while living in fear of him and the management. That's a wild accusation. But yeah, they have had quite a bunch of members. I'm sure you saw the meme about Megadeth not inviting their 748 past members on tour. Sorry, David Ellefson. They're not going to call you, even though I love that dude. In terms of musicianship and whiny woke people. Yep. I hear you guys. Thanks for being part of the conversation. If you're new here and you're interested so much, check us out. Feel free to follow us for music news. We update our link tree every day. We hit the socials every day. We share video interviews all the time on our YouTube and our socials. We'll be giving away tickets later tonight, starting tonight, for the Wardruna North American tour, which might be of some interest to some of you out there watching this. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be back either tomorrow or Thursday for sure with our weekly show on Thursday, but I might be back in tomorrow night. Maybe. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I'm Keefe from GhostCultMag.com, and I'm out. Thanks for being here. Peace, everybody.